You've got the RUSS TOLMAN Good Time Hour, and today our special guest is going to be Matt Piucci. And do I hear the phone ringing now? I think it is. Hello? Is that you, Matt?
You bet, man. Long time no speak.
Yeah, it has been some years. I mean, our paths have crossed over the years quite a few times, but yeah, I think the last time we were riding around in a van in the Pacific Northwest playing some shows with Don Dixon and True West and the Windbreakers, and wow, that was 20 years ago. Say what?
That's correct.
Oh,
and
good.
I'll never forget. I don't know if this is the first. I don't think it's the first time we played, but I'll never forget playing the Rat with you guys, man.
Yeah, I think that was the first time we actually, because you guys were in LA and we were up in Davis, and I think the first time our paths actually crossed was at the Rat. Yeah, I was just thinking about that today. Rain Parade.
Yeah, coming into sound check and the entire place smelled like dead rodents, and they were putting all this incense up in a feeble and fairly non-effective attempt to cover up the smell.
I don't remember that at all, but
do you remember the guy with the tracheotomy who?
Oh yeah, Mitch. I totally remember Mitch.
He was bizarre. What a bizarre club.
Yeah,
anyway.
Mitch and of course Julie, the publicist. But who was the? It was Jane was the booker. Jane, and Jane had the hots for our bass player Kevin Stadahar, and that was like an ongoing soap opera. I remember we were up in a motel room way up in I forget, in some town that we couldn't even pronounce correctly. And Jane gave Kevin some downer or like a lute or something in hopes that he would do the deed with her, and of course it never happened, but it was kind of fun to watch. It was like a cartoon show, where this like Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner, it never quite happened.
He was a very quiet guy, very, very handsome. So I and tall, like all you guys were freaking tall, man. You guys were like the tallest band out there.
Well, we had Steve Pakenham, who, was the tallest. And then I think Richard was next. Richard and Kevin about the same, around 6 foot. And then Gavin and I were, 5'10", 5'11".
But, yeah, you guys had the height and the guns, as I recall. But that's another story.
Yeah, Richard always carried a little piece in his guitar case. We'd plink along, pull off along the highway somewhere and plink a little bit. And of course, we won't get into the wildfire in Montana that we started, or was that Wyoming?
No, let's not do that.
Illegal fireworks sites. This is about you. This is your life, Matt Piucci.
Uh-oh.
So, Rain Parade, you guys have been back together for about 10 years now, right?
Yeah, a little more than that. We started again in 2012, roughly. The individuals playing with it as you go through these songs, we didn't play together. We didn't really stop. Rain Parade kind of petered out about 87, but Stephen had this band Viva Saturn, and I played with them and helped them produce. That was his stuff. And John Thelman also from Rain Parade played in that band, and even Will Glenn did a little bit. And then there's my thing, the Hellenes. There's a couple albums of that. Stephen helped me a lot with the first one and a little bit with the second one. And again, John Thelman, the common denominator, he was in both of those. So we, and even in Boat Club, Thelman ended up playing at the end of Boat Club. So we had been playing together, the same people, but it wasn't until, well, the story about Bobby Sutliff from Windbreakers. He got in a really bad car accident, and that kind of got the ball rolling. Tim Lee, my buddy from down there, and his bandmate asked me to record a song of his, and then I did, and then Stephen had moved up back to the Bay Area. I got him on that one. We started getting together, and then they asked us to play a show, and, then the ball got rolling. and we ran into all to the Dream Syndicate and the 3 O'Clock and the Bangles, who were all kind of playing again at that time. So that got the ball rolling, and we've been doing it since. And then when the pandemic hit, we decided that we didn't want to be like some legacy band and, just play old stuff. So we wrote an album, and it's not entirely accurate. We'd started a little bit before that, but it really allowed us to do that. We did. New albums, new tours, been playing a lot. Been really busy, actually. So,
yeah, that's great. Shall we take it back to the very beginning? I'm sure a lot of folks are Paisley Underground fans from day one, but might not quite know all the interconnections and stuff. So take it away, Mr. Piucci.
Sure. We were speaking about our early high school and college experiences. When I went to college, I was originally housed with a roommate who was a really nice guy, but he had let's just say, his idea of what one should be doing at college was different than mine.
Right.
And it turned out that David Roback had a similar view of things that I did, and his roommate had a similar view of things that my roommate did. So I think there was some complaining to management, but ultimately David and I ended up being roommates, and we became fast friends and bonded on music, film, art, all that good stuff. And fairly early on, after the revolution in 1975 in New York, whatever you want to call that stuff,
Right.
They call it punk, but it isn't. None of that stuff is punk. But anyway, that movement inspired the both of us. And then forget it, school was over, and we had agreed we were going to do something somewhere. He wasn't in the same town, but after a couple of years of me doing basically an internship in another band to learn how to play rock music, I moved out to Los Angeles in early 1981 with the intention of starting a band. We weren't quite sure what it was going to be, but we spent the next year sort of honing our craft, figuring out how to write songs, getting a sound together, getting the band together, getting David's brother Steven came down very early on, and we discovered he could write songs too. So had 3 songwriters, and then we ran into Will Glenn, who was the college roommate of Sue Hoff's brother.
Aha.
He was, fantastic musician, violin player, ended up playing keyboards, which he wasn't really trained at. He was a concert violinist, but he had a really good sense of music and an idea of how to get a really cool sound and play an interesting inversion without having it be, he wasn't like Rick Wakeman kind of keyboards, and more Milo style. And then Eddie Caldwell was our drummer. Once we got him, even though we'd had other ones, he was the one I consider our first drummer. And we put out a single before we ever played. And
what year was that?
82. We ended up, I think the single came out, and then we got a gig in May of 82 that by pure kismet ended up being with Green on Red.
Aha.
And a band called the Nuns.
Yeah.
Not the Nuns, the singer. Jennifer Moreau. And they're from up here. They're from...
the Nuns, or the Nuns, she was in the Nuns. Was it the Nuns or was it a post? Okay. Yeah.
This is post Nuns, and I think either Alejandro or Javier was in that band, the Escovedo brothers.
Right.
The Nuns. I don't think either of them played with her. I don't remember. I do remember Green on Red and being blown away by them. And Danny and Jack are dear friends to this day. Don't see Chris very often, but he's a buddy. He lives in Germany.
Yeah.
Alec is no longer with us. Sweet man. But that's how we got going.
There you go. I think now would be a perfect time to hear something. What is it going to be, Mr. Piucci?
Oh, you are my friend. The EP is called Explosions in the Glass Palace. You Are My Friend, the Explosions in the Glass Palace by Rain, written by Matt Piucci and Stephen Roback, for your listening pleasure.
That was fantastic. That was fantastic. Reminds me of my days when I worked for an easy listening station back in the mid-'70s.
Oh, geez.
You're so soothing. You have a soothing voice. You're going to be big in broadcasting, my friend. Okay, so back to Rain Parade. So you put out an EP. What happened then?
Oh, well, we had put out we didn't play anything from it, but the first record, which is called Emergency Third Rail Power Trip, we put that out with both Roback brothers and Eddie Kalwa and Will Glenn. But as you know well, Russ, songwriting is a very personal thing, and having more than one in a band can be a problem. 2 can be a problem. 3 is virtually impossible. So,
yes.
Yes,
I you're singing my song. Somehow this reminds me of what happened in my band.
Yeah, I know a little bit about that. Anyway, so David Roback, who went on to great success in Massey Star, but he formed a band with Kendra Smith from Dream Syndicate, and they went on to be Opal, which is fantastic. I really like that band. And so that was just the 4 of us, and Stephen and I really dug into songwriting just between the 2 of us, and we did this EP, Explosions in the Glass Palace. And that was in the spring of '84, I believe, and that is what you heard, the first song, You Are My Friend.
Let's hear another one. Why don't we hear the next one from that record?
This is probably my favorite song, the one I'm most proud of. This is called No Easy Way Down, and I like it because I don't think anybody else sounds like this, so that's part of the reason I like it. Piucci from Rain Parade, and you've just heard No Easy Way Down from the EP Explosions in the Glass Palace.
What happened after you did Explosions in Gas Palace? Now that came, the EP, did it come after the first album or before the first album?
Correct. No. The first album came out, we did that in the spring of '83, came out later that year on Enigma Records, which is relevant because the same guy who signed us then is the same guy who is now our record label president.
Is that Bill? Is that Bill Hine? Yes.
Yeah, wonderful guy. And, we'll get to that. So after we had done the EP and we toured as a four-piece for a while, that was fun for me, the EP, because I played all the guitar. That was a blast. Except I think Steve had played an acoustic on one song, but pretty much I played all the guitar, and that was really fun. But once we went out, it became obvious to me that I only had two hands, and we really liked that five-piece sound. I know you do too, because you guys were. We only had one guitar player. You guys had two, and we needed another guitar player. And my friend John Thoman, who both David and I knew from college, and who actually played in a punk cover band that played exactly like two quote shows unquote. I wouldn't call it a real band, but nonetheless, once we got our that was our Virgin Voyage. He joined the band in '84, and he's still in the band now. He's probably my oldest friend, and that's John Thoman, who came along. And we did a tour as a four-piece, but we realized we probably needed somebody else, and he came right after that. And then you probably remember in '85, Island Records came over to the U.S. and started sniffing around because they heard something was happening.
Oh, yes. And you signed with them.
We did sign with them, which is probably good and bad. I mean, it's an old story. They didn't really know what they had, and they signed 6 bands, almost none of whom had anything to do with what they thought they were getting into, with the exception of the Long Riders and ourselves. Not to say those other guys weren't cool and nice and good bands and all, but they really weren't what they thought they were getting, and they didn't really know what to do with this. So at least they put out a record, which we did, called Crashing Dream.
Right.
Which, by the way, happens to be relevant because as we did earlier this year, we reissued our very first record, Emergency Third Rail Power Trip, to which I referred previously, as a double disc with bonus stuff. And we did that on Record Store Day. And coming out soon, I'm not sure what you're able to say. No, it's out already. We have a similar thing with our album we did with Highland called Crashing Dream. And that's coming out as a double album, some of which has been tweaked of the old stuff. Some songs have been replaced, and there's a bonus disc of demos and live stuff. So it's a groovy thing. We like it better. It's all been remastered by Jim Hill, who is he might as well be in the band. He's our producer and buddy. Cool. And we don't do anything without him anymore. But that was the record that came out in '85 on Island, and they dropped us basically at the same time they put it out.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah.
Well, we got farther than most.
Hey, we were all in England in '85. In fact, I was in that Island office too, and at that point they're going, I think this is like pub rock. I think it's not going to stick.
Well, I don't know exactly how to describe what is peculiarly English about the press at that time, and then probably even now. But they really love to build people up and knock them down.
Oh yeah.
When they first heard us, we were the greatest band in the history of the universe, and by the time we put an album out on Island, we sucked. So
that's good. I think it's time to hear another song. The clock on the wall says. So, what's it called, Mr. Matt?
Is this Depending on You? I'm not sure.
Yes, it is.
Okay, this is a song. It's my favorite song from that record, Crashing Dream, and that did get a little bit of real airplay. That's as far as we got. This is called Depending on You from Crashing Dream by Rain Parade. Practice or Depending on You from Rain Parade's album, Crashing Dream.
You are a natural, Matt. You have a wonderful voice.
You say that to all the girls.
I'd say it, yeah, to the girls. I don't say it to everybody who's on the show, though, because some of them don't have wonderful voices. Most of them do. So I think we need to hear another song because, time is flying. So let's jump ahead. You were in a band called Boat Club, which you were telling us about before. When did this come out?
Well, this came out in 2008. This is a group of guys from Oakland. Tom Carnes, Mark Hanley. Mark Hanley ended up playing on the Hellenes album and even a little bit in Rain Parade. And Tom Carnes, he lives down south now. Great singer. I think he's in a band called Brothers Johnston. Anyway, this is a song I wrote about my dog.
Wow. And it's called?
Milo.
There we go.
Hi, that was Milo from Boat Club album Eponymous. Is that how we say it? Eponymous record.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. When REM came out with that album, everyone learned a new word that they couldn't pronounce. I have no idea how you actually pronounce it. It's been some years since I tried. So Boat Club was after the Hellenes, right?
Kind of in between, actually. I put out the first Hellenes record. That was 2000.
I remember it well. It was on the illustrious Interstate label, which was let's just say it was my label.
Yes, exactly. And that's 2000. And like we discussed earlier, I once I stopped playing music in the 80s, I went back to school, got a job, so it took me 8 to 10 years to put out a record. So I put out one in 2000, and then Boat Club came out in 2008, and the next Hellenes record came out in 2016. That's basically almost the exact band that is now in Rain Parade, with the exception of Steven Roback on bass. A guy named Alec Palau played bass. But all the guys who now play in Rain Parade, Derek C., and John Thoman, and Stefan Hunker, the drummer, they're all now in Rain Parade. Alec Palau doesn't play in Rain Parade anymore, nor does Mark Hanley, but they're pals and, part of the same group.
Sure.
We've got Matt Piucci of the Rain Parade and the Hellenes and Boat Club. And what other bands have you been in, Matt?
Well, I played with the guys from Crazy Horse while Neil was
right. I forgot about that.
Neely things, and Billy Talbot and Ralph Molina are dear, dear friends to this day. I wish them the best of health. They're getting up there, but they're still hanging in there. I played a lot with Billy Talbot specifically. They're wonderful people. And then this guy, Alec Palau, who is a
I know Al.
world-renowned archivist, and he's doing his own thing now. He got a hold of Country Joe McDonald, and I ended up in a band with Alec and Derek C., who is in Rain Parade now, and then a guy named and Joe Specker, who you know well, a drummer, great guy, and a woman named Andrea. I forgot her last name. I'm sorry, but she played keyboards, and we did the album, the original Country Joe and the Fish album, music for. I should remember the damn name, but it's really the first psychedelic album from that era.
I know it only mostly for the Vietnam song.
Right, but there's some really trippy stuff. Section 42, bass strings.
Yeah, I haven't heard that. I must say that I haven't listened to that record since I was a DJ on KDVS in Davis. But this is KDRT, David.
And Joe hadn't really heard it either, because, I mean, here's a shocker. He doesn't get along with those guys from his early band, or at least not Barry Melton. And Al talked him into doing it. I think he was a little bit trepidatious, but once he heard the band, he's like, oh, wow, okay. So we did about half a dozen shows. A wonderful guy, just a beautiful guy, really solid, honest dude, and he's up there too. He's got to be 83 or so. This dude was in the Navy before Vietnam, and he was out before Vietnam started.
Right.
Yeah, amazing fellow. So yes, that would be the extent of a little bit with Country Joe. And then I played with this cool band called True West a couple times too.
Well, that was after I was gone, so you know.
Oh wait, you're not on that record. That's right. I'm sorry. Sorry, Russ. Well,
it's okay.
I'm sure
you and Chuck Prophet were on it, and I think who else did? They brought all these ringers in, because no one could play my parts.
I forgot about that. Yeah. Well, it took two of us to replace you. I'm sure.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, I'll take that. So the clock on the wall is saying we're rapidly running out of time. So why don't we announce the next Rain Parade song?
Yeah. So now we've dealt with all the past, and this is kind of what we're up to now. We put out an album called "Last Rays of a Dying Sun" that came out a couple of years ago. Did a lot of touring, and went to the UK a couple of times, West Coast, blah blah blah. Came back and did this other EP called "The Last Stop on the Underground," and those are the two most recent Rain Parade albums, from which you will be playing a couple songs, I believe. And I think the first one is the title cut from the album. It's called "Last Rays of a Dying Sun."
That's it.
picked up the loaded dice, threw them only twice, watched it all fall down, built it right back up, let her down too slow to the crumbling Milo. Now she's gone with all the fun in the rays of the dying sun, that rays of the dying sun.
So you just heard Last Rays of a Dying Sun by Rain Parade from their album of the same name. And you may recognize that sort of whammy bar vibrato thing. That's kind of like that other song we played earlier, No Easy Way Down, but I wanted to do one that was a little happier. So I did one in a major key instead of having it be like super modal and dark.
Whammy bar's the greatest thing
It
ever.
pretty much is. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I'd rather have that than a fuzz box.
Yeah, both is nice.
Okay, so we're talking with Matt Piucci here from the Rain Parade Boat Club, Hellenes, Crazy Horse, Country Joe McDonald and the Fish, and God knows what else. And it's been a pleasure having you on the program, Matt. And we would be amiss if we did not mention or at least my good pal, and I'm sure he was yours too, Gil Ray, who was in your band for a while.
Yeah, he's a beautiful guy. He played with us the very first time in 2012. He was already sick. He played with us as long as he could and sadly passed a couple of years later. He's a great guy. Just want to let you know, though, we're at it again. We are going to play a song from Last Stop on the Underground. That's our most recent effort, but we are currently working on new material. We'll be playing some shows in May. We're playing at the Great American Music Hall on May 3rd. We're playing at the Sweetwater in Marin on May 9th, and we'll be down in Los Angeles at Zebulon, sponsored by KCRW, on May 31st. And hopefully, in addition to the Crashing Dream re-release that's coming out in a couple months, we'll be working on a new record that will come out hopefully late 2025. And that's what I've been doing.
That's a lot of fresh meat to jump into there. A lot of good stuff. Cool. I guess we got to run. Thank you, Matt, for being on the program here. And this has been the RUSS TOLMAN Good Time Hour here on KDRT, Davis, California. And we'll catch you all next week.
Nice today.